While perhaps not as renowned or pedigreed, if you will, as grape Pinot Noir or grape Cabernet may be, true lovers of wine will tell you that no grape variety will tell the story of the state of California better than Zinfandel. Whether it's the old vines that you find up in Amador County and the Sierra foothills, whether it's the old vines that you'll find in the Mendocino Ridge or along Mendocino County itself, whether it's the Alexander Valley's old vines, Dry Creek Valley's old vines, Livermore's old vines, Paso's old vines, etc. You can imagine that as you literally move from north to south, a great way to learn about the state and learn about its terroir is through the prism of Zinfandel. Zinfandel is a grape that historically has been extremely robust, and in fact, if you look at the registry of heritage vineyards in California, which are defined as vines that are over 60 years of age, the majority of them are Zinfandel, or what they would call mixed black vineyards, which is to say Zinfandel planted with grapes that also do well there. Carignan, Alicante Bouschet, Pelersen, and other grapes that together when picked make what they call field blends or mixed black wines. These grape varieties over time have done extremely well. They age very well. They are very hardy. So even though older vines may produce less volume than the newer vineyards do, nevertheless they produce wines of incredible intensity, volume, and depth. Even though it may not be the most planted red grape variety, and it's not, it's easy to say, given its lineage, the history, the importance of the grape to the state historically, as well as flavor-wise, that Zinfandel is, without question, our signature. It's made in light, medium, and fuller-bodied styles. It represents terroir very well, and it has a diversity to it, which you could argue is probably the hallmark of our state, be it in food, be it in wine, be it in people. It's so hard to select an individual bottle of Zinfandel to represent the face of the state. But I think if you were to pick Sonoma County as being an epicenter for that, you wouldn't be wrong. Dry Creek Valley and Alexander Valley probably have the highest concentration of heritage vineyards in the state of California, and some of the oldest clones, oldest selections of the grape itself that have been propagated in myriad vineyards, not only in that county, but in other places too. I selected this wine from Pedroncelli Winery, another Italian family that's long established up in this part of the world, because of the specific bottling, Mother Clone. Mother Clone literally refers to original budwood, original plant material that has over 100 years of history that they have since selected, propagated, isolated, and used to make this Zinfandel that has great character. When I think about Zinfandel, I think about wines that have heirloom budwood, that have heirloom plant material, because those wines tend to have the most interesting flavor profiles and most unique defined characteristics. When I think of Zinfandel, I actually think of acidity. Really great Zinfandel will always have a backbone of ripe acidity, bright acidity, that provides the architecture on which you can build the flavors and layers of flavor that you have. It will always have black fruit, and at times it can be almost syrupy sweet, but it's always going to be balanced out with wonderful acidity if vinified correctly. A nice mix of red, black, and blue fruit are the hallmark of good red Zinfandel. Again, we're not talking about white Zinfandel here. Dry Creek in specific is known for this sort of bramble bush character that's a little bit of like when you go out into your yard and you pick the wild berries that you might have if you have bushes in your vineyards, or frankly even along the roads up here in Dry Creek Valley. Sort of slightly rustic, but beautifully delicious, sweet, but also with nice balances of acidity. There's oak here, but literally just enough to envelop the wine without providing a very heavy sense of baking spice. Body is always full. Zinfandel requires warmth to be able to ripen and warmth to be able to produce the fruit that's going to make the best wines. So you're never going to find great Zinfandels that are going to be 10%, 11% alcohol. This particular wine here, as I smell it, reminds me of raspberries, black raspberries, boysenberries. It has a slight note of fennel or licorice, red licorice specifically, and just a little bit of herbal notes. There's a kiss of vanilla here, and even a little bit of bitter dark chocolate from the oak barrels in which it's aged, but not too much. The palate of the wine is quite generous. There's a lot of volume in it. It's full-bodied for sure. The acid level here is quite bright, and the tannins are well managed, which is to say, I get the sense of tannin that's there, but they're not astringent, they're not drying, they're not mouth-ripping. They're very smooth and appropriate for a wine style like this. This wine actually, while young and delicious because of the primacy of its fruit, is one that I think has a long future in front of it if you wanted to put it away for 5 to 8 years. If you can't find Pedroncelli, look for another Italian family. There are lots of them. Call them the Pedroncellis, the Raffinellis, the Segazios. There's a lot of families with Italian names who specialize in Zinfandel. Martinelli would be another one you might know. If you can't find Dry Creek Valley, any part of Sonoma County where they specialize in the grape variety, like Alexander Valley or even Rockpile, would be a really good place to go. In any case, as long as it says Zinfandel on the label, it'll probably be a pretty good representative wine of California's signature grape.